Ain't no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. Hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. I'ma rep my city and salute my town. Said ain't no way, ain't no how. I'ma let somebody come and shut me down. I'ma hold my own, I'ma stand my ground. And I'm ready for whatever, and I still stand proud. Ain't no way. Who you think you kidding, dude? Never thought that I would do.
What up, though? It is your boy Mike D, host of Wrestling from the 313, and we are back for another live stream episode. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch right now. And as always, this episode is brought to you by WSN, the Wrestling Society Network. If you have Apple TV, Roku, or the Amazon Fire Stick, make sure you download the WSN app. Check out all the cool content they got on there, wrestling documentaries, wrestling TV shows, anything that got to do with wrestling. They even created a promotion off the 2K video game. So check that out. Go to their website at thewrestlingsociety.com. Get a free account there. Check out all the cool content there. Also, they also have a podcast room where you can check out all the other wrestling podcasts, Wrestling from the 313 being one of them. Also, check out their Patreon page. To join their page is free, but to get the exclusive and good stuff, they got membership options, so check those out too. And also want to give a shout out to the sponsor here, Wrestling from the 313, W Energy, which I'm always drinking to keep myself up and going for the podcast and stuff. Real good. This is a real good energy drink. Go to their website, www.w.gg. Get you an energy drink mix. They got a lot of good flavors, shakers, so you can drink your drink. And when you go to checkout, put in the code W313 and you get 10% off your order. So my guest today is he's an independent wrestler. He's wrestled for Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance, and he's also an actor. So we're gonna get into that. He is the most Dean Moseley. Dean Moseley, what up, though, and welcome to Wrestling from the 313.
Thank you for having me on the show, Mike D. I am honored to be on part of your program, and I'm excited to talk with you today.
No problem. And real quick, Dean was scheduled to be on the show last week, but we had to reschedule because last week his fiance gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. So I also want to say congratulations to you on that.
It means a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem. So to get things started, for fans who may be discovering you for the first time, what's the Dean Moseley story and how did wrestling first enter your life?
The most Dean Moseley, the wrestling has been my escape, I guess, for as long as I can remember. You know, I can't really think of a time where I didn't want to be an entertainer in some type of way. And I've always been an athlete and loved wrestling, so it just felt like the natural progression. And in the early 2024, I decided it was finally the right time in my life to try my hand on it. And it's been, now I'm here.
That's what's up. So growing up and you watching, when did you start watching wrestling and like who were some of your favorites?
I remember watching like a little bit when I was like 5 years old in 2009, but it really became like my favorite thing around like the prime of CM Punk and guys like that at the time. Yeah. So he was really my favorite when I was a kid. When the more I started to watch it, I really was started to taken back by the Ric Flairs, Roddy Pipers, The Miz, those guys who really made the most out of everything they were given.
That's what's up. Yeah, you're definitely right about that because guys like The Miz, like any opportunity that he got, you know what I'm saying, whether it's the doing something with WWE or doing something outside of it, he always take advantage of his opportunities. And I definitely think he's a guy. We always talk about the Randy Ortons, the John Cenas, the Edges, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, but I think The Miz don't get a lot of credit. I think he's very, very underrated. And when his time is, when he retires and he quit wrestling, he's definitely a guy that should get his flowers.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys you won't realize how much you miss them till they're gone. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I know you said that you were a fan of Roddy Piper. Was it more of the wrestling or was it some of the acting? Because you know he was an actor too.
He just was a larger than life presence, and he had that chip on the shoulder you need to contend when everybody around you's 3 inches, 30 pounds bigger than you are. You got to find some way to really hold your own and establish that credibility.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I can say because I grew up watching wrestling in the 80s. I'm 44, and I can tell you that his presence at that time was a big presence. Like he made a real big impact on wrestling at that time when it was coming up. Him and Hulk Hogan, he was the number one heel at that time. And you know, not just, you know, the rivalry he had with Hogan, but the rivalry he had with Mr. T, some of the stuff he would do with Captain Lou. And like you said, he was just a larger than life character. And, you know, Piper's Pit was a classic talk show when he was doing that. And he was definitely one of the best. I could definitely tell you that.
There's a pride to be taken in being the guy that is tasked with being the crossover with the mainstream, and that's something that most Dean Moseley takes a lot of pride in, and being someone who can perform for the hardcore and the casual audience. Because not everybody is a fan of the wonderful thing we call professional wrestling,
Right.
and but if you can be the one person that makes them pay attention to it or give it a chance, that's something real special.
Definitely, definitely. And I know you said you were a fan of Ric Flair also. Um, was it just because of just the character, the suits, the Rolexes, and just the way he presented himself?
Who didn't want to be Ric Flair at one point in life, right?
Yeah.
And he just oozes charisma, and that's just something you cannot teach.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He's definitely one of the greatest. I like to say he's like, and I'm a basketball fan. I like to call him the Bill Russell of pro wrestling. You know, Bill Russell's got 11 rings. He's got 16 championships. He might even have more if you know, because WWE only counts 16. But
Right,
I've
16
heard,
recognized, right?
yeah, but I heard that Ric Flair might have over 22 world championships or something like
I
that.
don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Yeah, definitely. So you were trained by Ruthless Jason Radatz at the Elite Pro
Yes.
Wrestling Alliance. What was his last name again? Sorry.
Ruthless Jason Raditz. I
Radatz.
could
Okay.
not have a better trainer. Like, it's the Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance is not the biggest name school on by any means, but they are reputable, respectable, and you will get some of the best training you will anywhere. I cannot speak higher of him. He's traveled around in his days. He's been places like Firestar Pro Wrestling, Three Legacies, Monster Factory, all the great ones you want to go to. But now he's really honed in on making the Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance the best thing it can be. And I do think we have something truly special there.
That's what's up. So what's the biggest lesson from your training that still sticks with you today?
Always desire to keep learning. There's always a different way to do something. There's always a new hold to learn. There's always a new way to do something. And it's always best to keep that mindset, because then no matter what you accomplish, you will feel fulfilled. And, it's important not to get lost in the destination and really enjoy the journey for what it is.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, so what was the moment where you felt like, okay, I belong in this business?
I remember when I really got my hands on a real character for the first time with You Still See Me With. And the first 6 months, it really felt like I was treading water. It just, what I had didn't click. I had a couple injuries, and then I was reffing for a little while. And everything I learned from that really helped me when I put it all together when I came back. And when that just started to go well and the feedback started to come in and I felt more comfortable, that's when I was like, I think like I belong here. And I can't think of one exact moment, but I remember a time period where it felt like things were changing.
Cool, cool. So how did you come up with the character? What was the inspiration behind the most Dean Moseley.
I mean, I'm just fascinated with the '50s aesthetic and the time period
Yeah,
and everything about
yeah,
it. The
yeah.
suburban, like retro diner, everything about it. I just love. I just love. And yeah, it felt like the best extension of me that I could turn up a little bit, and it's just took it off and became its own layered thing.
That's what's up. So you were probably a fan of like movies like Grease, because Grease was kind of like that was like the setting like the 60s of, if I'm correct, the
I'm
50s and
actually a
60s.
big American Graffiti guy, is where most of
Okay.
my inspiration for it comes from. See,
Okay.
I'm a big musical theater guy, but Grease never my cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
You
surprising to hear by many people because I use the song from it. But I'm a Frankie Valli fan. So
yeah, yeah, I
coincidence.
heard of him. Yeah. So you've worked with World Domination Wrestling Alliance. How would you describe that locker room and the style of wrestling fans can expect there?
It's a good time. I really enjoy the this environment and everything about WDWA. They have great production. They have a show that posts every week called WDWA Frontline, ran by the Wild Patriot YouTube channel. He does fantastic work. Works for another promotion in Delaware, 1CW, known for that's where the Briscoes really cut their teeth in the beginning. And it's like he does a great job and makes everything feel so professional. And the style of wrestling, it's a blend of many things. I think it's a really good mix of independent work style and just good family fun. You know, it's definitely a variety show. There's definitely something for everybody on that card, I'd say.
That's what's up. So your wrestling style, how would you describe your wrestling style? Would you say it's more aerial or ground or kind of like a mixture?
I'm definitely more of a technician. Technical bruiser, I guess would be a good way to put it. Cause I hit hard, but I take pride in my fundamentals. I control the pace. I do things my way, and cause you go too fast, you'll lose your footing. And it's good to know what you're good at. If you can keep the things, it's like you referenced basketball earlier. You want to control the tempo is the
Yeah,
best way to put it. And you grab a good hold. Everyone needs to keep their arm right. You can keep where you need to be.
yeah, that's what's up. So I know you said um, technical bruiser. Would it be more like a Pete Dunne style, like the bruiserweight
I
style?
definitely do take a lot of inspiration from that
Okay.
British independent scene and that style mix of technical savants and hard hitting action. I would definitely say that's a good way to put it. I love grizzled young veterans or Clark Connors
Yeah,
or guys like that. I really take a lot of inspiration from.
yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about the big leagues in a minute, but I know you just mentioned the British style of wrestling. Were you a fan of NXT UK when they were
I
around?
was. I loved it. Yeah, I loved all of the guys on there, really.
Yeah,
I was a big Gallus guy. I love Joe Coffey. I think he's a
yeah,
star. And I really wish that they were able to grow more and stay a thing, especially nowadays with them expanding into different places, like owning AAA and all that. I think NXT UK could really thrive right now.
yeah. And actually, that was actually the plan, but during COVID just wiped out everything. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
they really wanted to push NXT like the new version of like the NWA. Cause I
Right.
was because I think they plan was to have NXT in Japan, NXT in Mexico. They wanted to have the NXT brand globally. But
That would have been a great thing.
yeah,
Maybe they
yeah,
would have brought back the Cruiserweight Classic, huh?
yeah, yeah.
That's
But
something I clamor for. I love
yeah,
tournaments.
those tournaments were good, but the way wrestling is now, especially with it being owned by TKO, I don't think it would have that same flair like it did back in the day.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And then I even think that with they don't even do the Mae Young Classic anymore. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
like those type of tournaments they used to do. it wouldn't be the same like how it was like back in the black and gold days.
It's true. It's a very good point.
So independent wrestling is a grind mentality physically and financially. What keeps you motivated on the tough days?
I My family, really. It's like knowing what I'm doing it for and how much I put into it, and I guess sacrifice is the way to put it, because my real goal in wrestling is to make it as far as I can, accomplish as much as I can without putting it before my family. Because at the end of the day, I am a family man and everything I do is for them,
Yeah.
and the image that they see me in. But I firmly believe in leaving a mark on the world and being remembered for something. And that also very much keeps me motivated.
Yeah. Yeah. So real quick, I know your daughter was born last week. How's it been?
It's been great. A well needed time at home, and just really helps you remember the important things in life. I've always wanted to have a boy and a girl. I already have a
Oh,
4-year-old son, so
sweet.
now I have my daughter, and I've wanted that whole family for him for quite a while, and my life is in a great spot that I can't believe where it's at. So I'm very grateful for it every day.
That's what's up. So you said your son is 4. Has he got the wrestling bug?
Most definitely. He loves it. He loves watching it. He loves doing it. He's always trying to climb up on me, like body slams, all that. And he'll feed up and everything. He's gonna be a problem one day.
So like when you go to your shows, and I know when they put in the ring and stuff together, and just that time that the wrestlers get to kind of like warm up and practice. Do you sometimes have your son in the ring with you, and do you all wrestle in the ring?
I haven't gotten to do that much yet because all the guys are usually going over things and doing all that, and
Gotcha.
you know my son, he has autism, so it's
Okay.
hard to keep him in that environment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely like to bring him more to shows as he gets older, and definitely do that, because I think once, because I he stood up on the apron once and he touched the rope and he made a face like, oh, I didn't expect that, and kind of like trying to touch it and he couldn't move it by touching it, and he
Yeah.
like got uncomfortable and got down, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah, because those the ropes, like what are the, because I know that of course they wrap them up with tape and stuff, but what are the ropes made of?
It really depends where you go.
Okay.
I know some of them are like cables that are tightened, and like it's just layers like of rope and tape around it.
Okay.
But that's the only one I can name off the top of my head, really. But I have heard that there are multiple ways that they do it. I think you can definitely feel the difference, because I've had some that are literally just rope,
Mhm.
and they hurt a lot. A lot of the older rings that you'd use will have that, and you can definitely tell.
that's that's what's up. Yeah, because I forgot which one of those shows were. I think it was Tough Enough for one of them. It's like you can't even. It's a certain way you got to hit the ropes too, right? Because
Most definitely.
if you hit the ropes the wrong way, you'll get like a big whelp on your back or something like that.
Yeah, in the beginning, you're gonna get the welt no matter what. That's definitely the
Okay.
most surprising thing. You got to build up that callus, and but the point of hitting the ropes is to build up momentum. And if you don't hit it right, you're not gonna build the momentum you need. And I feel like a lot of times when you see guys hit the ropes and get cut off or knocked down, it's because they didn't build up the right momentum.
That's what's up. So yeah, and this is another question I got. So we're seeing with you being an actor and you wrestling and stuff, just actors and celebrities in wrestling. Period. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's case by case basis, because if they really want to come in and just they have a passion for it and want to do it, I'm all for it. And sometimes there are times where it is a mutually beneficial business thing, and I can understand both sides of that. But then there's times if they'll come in and it actively hurts the product, or
Yeah,
just takes time from great talent that deserve it,
yeah,
and I that's when it's like. not my preferred thing. But on one side of it, Paul Walter Hauser wrestling in places like Revolver and GCW. I could watch that all day because seems like the nicest guy ever, and he seems like he really loves it. But then the controversial, I guess, Travis Scott, for example, people weren't really a fan of that.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's one of those examples where maybe not in the main event of WrestleMania.
yeah,
Like have him at WrestleMania, something like it, maybe an entrance, stuff like that. But having him have an imperative role in something as big as that,
yeah,
that's inherently going to be controversial.
yeah. And you know what? I think what happened with the Travis Scott thing, honestly, I think he wanted to be a part of it, but when it came to like the working in the ring and stuff like that, he probably couldn't handle it. You
It's
know what I'm
not for
saying?
everybody. It's
Yeah,
not for
yeah.
everybody.
It's different when you a spectator and you watching it and you a fan, but once you got to get in the rings, because one, I know he had to get in the ring shape, so he probably had to take a bunch of bumps,
Right.
like you said, probably had to hit the ropes and stuff. And from what I hear, just by hearing from athletes that play football and basketball and stuff like that, that training to be a professional wrestler is totally different from training to be an athlete. And I've
Yeah.
seen like big football dudes, like, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, this is real, you know. So I think for me, I think what makes an actor or actress or celebrity or whatever, well, I think what makes it when they come into the world of wrestling, like you said, if they have a passion for it and they actually like it and keep up with what's going on with WWE or AEW and stuff like that. But if you just one of those actors that's just coming in and just getting a check, the fans gonna know. You know what I'm saying? And a
Right.
lot of times, like even when they talk on the mic, you could kind of tell, like, okay, he really ain't trying to do this. Like, he just doing this for the check. Guy like Jelly
Right.
Roll, I think Jelly Roll really, really likes wrestling, and I think that's why like him being on the show works because he's an actual wrestling fan and he's been in the ring and wrestled. So I think it like you said, it kind of it's kind of hit or miss, and it also depends on the celebrity.
Right. Yeah, Jelly Roll has most certainly put in the work, it seems.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, because I know he lost over 200 pounds if I'm correct.
Yeah, it shows. He looks great. So
Yeah,
shout out Jelly Roll. Good for him.
yeah, and it looked like I Show Speed might be part of WrestleMania too.
Good for him. He's got a real big following. That's a good way to get a younger audience engaged.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So, is there a match or opponent from your career so far that really helped elevate you or change how you approach wrestling?
Oh, definitely. I really early on, when I was still new baby face as it could be, worked with a wrestler from the West Virginia area named Israel Sharif Bakor, or ISP. Love that guy. He was so great, so wise, and he's currently retired now, moving on to a different stage in life, and I wish him the best. There's so many things that he's told me that I take with me into every match. And yeah, definitely a guy I always want to shout out as much as I can. King Kalua, independent wrestling legend. I got to team with him once, and he's just the nicest guy. He's given me so many tidbits every time I see him. He'll like pull me aside about my matches, and he really is just a legend in every sense of the word. And then there's guys that you'll find in the locker room, the bigger names, the guys that have done it and are in the position that you want to be. And I want to give a shout out to Jacob Edwin too, the professor, big name in the Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia area. He's yeah, all the praise in the world to him.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, real quick, I know you mentioned different states. So how many states have you wrestled in so far?
I've wrestled in five. Michigan will be my sixth. Next
Okay,
and May 2nd for City Championship Wrestling in New Baltimore. I
okay,
will be making my Michigan debut then. But so far I've wrestled in West Virginia, Virginia, Maryland, Ohio, and Pennsylvania.
sweet, sweet. That's what's up. So how did you get connected with City Championship Wrestling in Michigan?
A couple wrestler friends of mine in the area have wrestled there before, and you get invited to a car ride, you take the opportunity, and it's just kind of one of those things.
Oh, that's what's up. So this would be your first time in Michigan.
Yes, yes, in any capacity.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Hope you enjoy your visit while you're here.
From what I've seen, I definitely think I will. Seems like a real nice area.
Yeah, I don't know much about New Baltimore. If you do get a chance to go to downtown Detroit is nice. You got all the sports arenas down there. Lots of restaurants and stuff like that. A lot of good places to eat. So if you get a chance, definitely go downtown.
I definitely may have to. Definitely may have to. If not, I'll have to make a trip out to wrestle in the city. Are there any big promotions in there?
We got Ring of Champions and we got Superior Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
Off after this episode, I can send you a link to their Facebook pages just in case you want to follow them or reach out.
Please, always looking for new places to go.
Sweet. So how do you balance real life wrestling and creative pursuits like theater, without burning out?
I'm still trying to figure that one out, honestly. I figure that out the best I can. And recently, the other day, I did stand up for the first time. So now I'm trying to incorporate that and really have that take off. So I think it's kind of just picking and choosing what's right at the time, because theater requires the least amount of travel for me right now. But with me branching out to more places in the area, I'm starting to get spots as a stunt coordinator and planning all the fight scenes and some plays and stuff coming up. So that's also going to take a lot of my attention. And it's nice and cool to be able to do all these things, but definitely trying to find that balance is the key I'm going to try to work on before I really get back into the full stride of things, for sure.
That's what's up. So off the top of your head, how many plays have you been in so far?
This last one was my first, actually, and
Okay.
I've just since then I've been in talks with some about others, and I've got a spot scheduled for a few, and it's really starting to take off from there.
That's what's up. Any movies you've ever been in, or is that something that you would like to dabble into also?
I definitely would. I've been in talks with a couple people about some roles in short films and stuff like that, and I've always wanted to write a few of my own, so I've been keeping that in the back of my mind. But with writing for stand up and all these other creative pursuits, that's a little bit on the back burner at the moment. But that definitely is a goal. And my dream job, I would love to be a voice actor. I don't know how to pursue that or where to go from it, but that's throw it out there. That's definitely something I've always wanted to do.
Hey, throw it out there. You might you never know what opportunities might come along for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you said I had a question right on the top of my head. If it come back to me, I'm gonna ask you. What goals do you have for yourself over the next 1 to 3 years in wrestling, and any promotions or milestones you aiming for?
Oh yeah, of course. We all have our list. To name drop a few, there's Mid Atlantic Territory Wrestling in Norfolk, Virginia. They have a great thing going down there. Old school feel that I really appreciate. Of course, Firestar Pro Wrestling, one of the hottest spots in the Carolinas. I'd love to go there. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, they have a great thing down there. And Action Wrestling in New South. I love their distinct territory feel and just everything they have going on. Like those places are fantastic, and I'd love to go there.
That's what's up. Any championships that you looking to pursue also, or are you just
I want to be Elite Pro Champion. Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance is my biggest goal. I want to help build up that place as much as I can. It's the only place in the area in an hour and a half any direction from where I live, and because I live in a very rural West Virginia area.
Okay.
and I just want it to be the biggest thing that it can because it has a lot of history and the best roster in the area. I will put it up side by side with any, like in a 4 hour radius. So you get to the big places like the MCWs and like the AMLs, like Elite Pro is up there with all of them. And I just want to get as many eyes on there as I can and be the face of that brand. And to be that, you have to be Elite Pro champion.
Yeah. So have you won a championship there in that promotion
I am a
before?
2-time tag team champion.
Okay, cool. And was it with the same partner or you had
Yes.
different? Okay.
For 2 years, I was half of a team called Thunder Road, and recently we had a falling out, per se, and now the most Dean Moseley is on his own and the best he's ever been.
Hey, so hey, sometimes you gotta go your own way. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be the Shawn Michaels of the group.
Fleetwood Mac said it best.
So for anyone listening who wants to get into wrestling or even just chase a creative passion, what advice would Dean Moseley give them right now?
Do it. Start.
Yeah.
Just like you have to do it to do it. If no matter what you want to do, if it's wrestling specifically, find a good school. It may be a drive. It may cost a little more than you want, but if you can't afford it yet, save money up for when it's there. But you definitely don't want to go to a bad school, get trained wrong, and then put yourself at a disadvantage moving forward when you want to go to those quality places. So put the time and the money into the right place. For any creative endeavor at all, like I said, do it, try it, start it. Like there's an old saying that you'll hear in so many creative mediums. I'm sure you've heard it. Make it exist first, make it good later. And that's something I definitely take to heart. You have to do it. They're just ideas until you manifest it. And that's the best thing I could possibly say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because it took me a minute. Like when I finally started doing this podcast, like I had the YouTube channel and stuff set up. I would do like little videos, short videos and stuff. But when it came to the podcast, it was just like, man, you just got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I did it, and it'll be 3 years next month in April, and it's been a cool ride. I've being able to interview different people from the IWC, whether it's wrestlers, referees, podcasters, authors of books, just a lot of cool people have came on, and just hearing everybody's story has just been cool. And even just talking about, some of the PLEs and stuff that's been going on, that's been cool. It's just been a great ride, and I just definitely want to take this to the next level.
Most definitely, and quite a following you've built in those 3 years. So hats off to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, and it's so crazy because I never thought that I would be at where I'm at right now. I was just happy that at one time just to have 75 subscribers on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's so hard. But when you do something that get people to subscribe to your channel, you got to keep going and keep doing it. But you still got to be creative and come up with new ideas. So that's definitely one of the things that I'm, been thinking about and stuff. But like I said, it's just been one hell of a ride, and I've enjoyed it this almost 3 years.
Most definitely. Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground, huh?
Definitely. So we talked about your story in the independence and the acting scene. So when Dean is not on the road and not wrestling, what promotions are you watching?
Promotions, I love to look at the bigger indies and see what's going on at the level I'm at. And I watch quite a bit of the old school stuff. Like My favorites change from the time I was a fan to when I get into it. The more I've wrestled, the more time I've spent, I've taken appreciation for the Buddy Landells, the Michael P.S. Hayes, the Tito Santanas, those guys like that who like Eddie Gilbert, like guys like that who are really we wouldn't have what we have now without them. And that's a style that I consider to be timeless, especially on the independents.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, do you because I know they have certain streaming services. I think it's Fight TV. They show a lot of independent promotions. Do you ever get a chance to check out any of those?
I haven't, no. I would like to. Well, I would like to eventually get on a promotion that is streamed on there so I can go on and see myself. But I watch as much as I can that's put on YouTube, which I love YouTube. YouTube's such a great place for things especially like that.
Yeah,
Because like Limitless or Beyond or MCW, those larger places that people on the indies that want to make it really should be paying attention to.
yeah,
Like they put all their stuff out on YouTube and stuff like that, and it's convenient for tape study to say the least.
that's what's up. So you do you get a chance to watch some of the current stuff, or or you not in tune with it?
Of course, you got to keep up with it. You have to know what's going on because it's a business and it
Yeah,
evolves. So you got to keep your finger on the pulse. But I would be lying if I said I get the same kick out of it that I used to when I was a kid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's how I feel too. But it's like I'm one of them people that like, and I know the older I get, like people my age, they always, oh, I missed it when it was like when during the Attitude Era, this and that. And sometimes I be like that too, because I'm a big NWO fan. And that whole when Scott Hall came through the crowd and said, you want a war, when he did that, and like how they were slowly bringing in Hall, Nash came in a week or two later, and then just the whole build up to that was like so dope to me. And just like the
Right,
NWO was a movement. The NWO was a movement. Austin 316 was a movement. DX was a movement. The Rock was a movement too, but to me, I feel like the Attitude Era or the Monday Night Wars really was about the NWO, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I would probably say DX, because
right,
DX would do their little shenanigans, going up, pulling up to the Nitro Arena. NWO would say their thing. And Austin 316, if it wasn't for the Stone Cold character or the Austin McMahon rivalry, WWE would have went out of business. So
right.
that's why I always say that Stone Cold is the GOAT, because it was just like he had everybody wanting to be Stone Cold. Everybody wanted to stun a boss, a teacher, somebody.
Right. At the end of the day, we are in this business to make money and get over, be catchy, and there's few as catchy as Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, yeah. And he excuse me. Yeah, it was just definitely around that time, when he had left WCW and coming into WWE, and just seeing like his character wasn't really clicking, the ringmaster character. But when he made those changes, and when he won King of the Ring, because he originally wasn't supposed to win King of the Ring, it was supposed to be in Triple H. But after that whole thing that happened at Madison Square Garden when Hall and Nash left, then they took that away from him and gave it to Stone Cold, and it was the rest is history. The rest,
Right. Sometimes all it takes is one small change to really put the puzzle piece into place. That's for sure.
definitely, definitely. Do you get a chance to check out AEW?
Sometimes, yeah, like I said, you always got to stay up with what's going on, keep your fingers on the pulse.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody that you're a fan of,
Oh,
or
MJF, of course, going back to he has that old school style and
yeah,
seeing Jewish representation on screen, that's always been something, I really appreciate to put like really in the forefront.
yeah, yeah. I definitely agree. Like, he's one of the, if not the one of the best, he's probably the best heel in wrestling right now. I would say him, and I would even say Gunther. I think Gunther is one of the best heels in wrestling right now. And yeah, anytime that you could just piss people off, you doing your job. And I think MJF he does that almost every week. He's on wrestling, and he's the champion too. So that's really gonna piss people off.
Right. People pay top dollar to see him get his comeuppance, and he's sly, he's slick, and it's hard for him to get that comeuppance. So, that's why he's the champ.
Yeah. Real quick, it's a guy that I want to talk about. He's been kind of hot on social media. He's in the indies. He just signed to TNA, Ricky Sosa. If you heard of him,
Of course.
What's your thoughts on him signing with TNA?
I think he's great, and it's nice for young talent that are really making a name for themselves, especially overseas, to be able to have that chance to have that spotlight. And really, like 10, 15 years ago, I don't know if things like that would have been able to happen. And wrestling is in a much better place for
No.
independent wrestlers and stuff. And it's a beautiful thing. And Ricky Sosa very much deserves the success he's getting.
Yeah, he definitely went viral with his entrance music.
It's all it takes. It's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the things that I could say for me, that makes a wrestler one of my favorites is his entrance. If you could have a crazy entrance, you definitely one of my favorites. And they don't even have to be nothing that's crazy. It could just be something that's just simple, but it's just
Unique.
like, okay, yeah.
You got to stand out.
Yeah. We got a comment. We got a comment from Justin Summers. What's going on, Justin? He is the head of Island Pro Wrestling out in Canada. Shout out to him. He'll be coming on the show. He'll be coming on the show in a couple of weeks, and he got a question for you, Dean. He wanted to know, what's your favorite music?
My favorite music, I love classic rock, stuff like that. I'm a big Rolling Stones guy, but also bands like Cage the Elephant, Arctic Monkeys, Neon Trees, like alternative upbeat rock, stuff like that. But to peel the curtain back, if I must, I am a quite big 21 Pilots fan from the time I was 10 years old.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, once again, shout out to Justin Summers. He'll be coming on the show in a couple of weeks. We're going to chop it up, see what's been going on in Island Pro Wrestling. I think he has a show coming up too. So we'll definitely talk about that. Awesome. So Dean, I appreciate you coming on. It was good, to hear your story. Before we get up out of here, did you want to let the people know where they can find you? Any shout outs?
I would love to. You can find me at Dean Moseley on Facebook. I post quite a bit of things there. You can stay up to date with everything going on with me. Dean Moseley Pro on Instagram. Dean Moseley at Thunder Road on YouTube. I have a lot of things on there. I post clips quite frequently. You can catch me on WDWA Frontline under the Wild Patriot YouTube channel. The Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance, stay tuned. They run a show every Thursday. And if you are in the Kaiser, West Virginia radius or just want to watch some quality wrestling, they also have their own channel. And I will also be involved in productions of The Raven and an original play called The Rougarou later in this fall. So that is everything pretty much going on in my life.
Sweet. We got one more question from Justin. This is for you, Dean. He has ever wrestled in Canada?
I definitely want to. When the time comes and it's a good time in my life, I would definitely love to do so.
Sweet. I will, definitely keep Island Pro Wrestling in mind. They do good stuff over there.
Reach out to me after the show.
Real quick before we get up out of here, just want to thank everybody that has watched this episode. You can catch Wrestling from the 313 on Instagram. Sometimes I'm on X and / Twitter. but you can follow on there. Facebook, where we got over 1,000 followers on there. TikTok, we're over 1,000 followers. And on YouTube, we are on the road to 10K. I think we're over 8,800 now. But yeah, we're on the road to 10K. We're getting close to 900, but I'm pushing for 10K. So yeah, if you haven't already, go to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel Wrestling from the 313.
You're already
Also,
here.
hey, I appreciate it. Also, make sure you go to w.gg. Go get you some of this energy blend mix. This is very good. It's a jitterless energy blend. It's better than the other stuff that's out there with all that caffeine and jittery stuff. Yeah, you go to checkout, put in the code W313, you get 10% off your order. Real quick, want to give a shout out to John. What up, though? Appreciate you sliding through. And trying to think if I got any other shout outs. Yeah, you can also catch me on Cameo. I'm also on Cameo. So yeah, just go in, search Wrestling from the 313 or put Mike D, you'll see me. And if you want a shout out or whatever, I'll definitely give you a shout out. And it ain't all expensive like all the other celebrities. It's very, 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 very good price. So yeah, if you want a shout out by me on Cameo, yeah, hit me up. So once again, my guest, I appreciate you coming on, the most Dean Moseley. Congratulations, the newborn baby girl. Good luck with everything in your wrestling career and acting career. And hopefully we see you on Island Pro Wrestling, or hopefully see you in more promotions in Michigan.
Thank you again for having me on. I can't wait to be back. And thank you.
No problem. It is your boy Mike D, the most Dean Moseley. This is Wrestling from the 313. We will catch you next week. Peace.